Welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. In the last lecture, we left the Israel-Palestine conflict on the Oslo 1, Oslo 2, and Camp David Accords, which did not reach to any agreement. A question can directly come in sense that Oslo 1, Oslo 2, Abrahamic and Abraham Accords and the Camp David Accords are attached, let's say, or related to which of the conflicts: the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, the Israel-Palestine conflict, the India-Pakistan conflict, and so. So you should know that they are related to the Israel-Palestine conflict. This is a picture of President Bill Clinton here, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak here, and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat here, who walk on the grounds of Camp David in the Midwest Summit on July 11, 2000. All right. So Palestinians finally frustrated over the failures to create a Palestinian state, though they had been given self-governance in Gaza, but they were not really happy with what had been happening in the Israel. Begin the second Intifada in September, which lasts until February 2005. So in this, 3,100 Palestinians and nearly 1,000 Israelis are killed. Again, they took the violent measures. In 2005, Israel withdrew from Gaza but retains control. 2007, the Hamas, the militant group, wins election in Gaza. So Hamas starts a direct rule in Gaza. And it is a violent militant terrorist organization. In 2008, Israel launches a major military campaign against Hamas in Gaza after increased rocket fires from militants. The fighting ends. In 2012, also similar things happen. Israeli forces kill Ahmad Jabbari, a Hamas military chief. Alright, in 2014, Hamas kidnaps and kills 3 Israeli teens in the West Bank, igniting the Gaza war, and similar things keep on happening. In 2017, the USA comes to aid Israel, where it says it will move the US embassy in Israel to Jerusalem from the Tel Aviv, in effect an official US recognition of Israel's claim to the city. The embassy is relocated in 2018. So from the Tel Aviv, the US supported its embassy to Jerusalem in order to say that, okay, we support Israel's claim. 2021, recently fighting erupts again as Israeli police raid the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the third holiest site as per the Islam in Jerusalem on April 13th, the first night of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. And disconnected speakers broadcasting prayers at Reuven Rivlin, the Israel president, is speaking at the Western Wall, a site sacred to the Jewish people. So this was little, let's say, aggravating move from the Israel side. 2023, in January this year, Israel launched the first of 2 raids against the Yemen refugee camp in the West Bank, where it said Palestinian militants and activists were hiding out. The second raid in 2023, Israel sent about 1,000 soldiers, backed by drone strikes, to Yemen to demolish what it characterized as militant command center. Now, in October 2023, there is a big war conflict situation going on, in which from the Gaza Strip, the militants attacked via rockets, via the support of Iran, and came inside till 5 to 7 kilometers, took people hostage and killed many. So Hamas infiltrated the southern Israel in a stunning surprise attack. Overnight and into the morning, Hamas launched thousands of rockets. Israel National Rescue Service said that 8 dozen people were killed and hundreds wounded. So Israel has started now the return conflict. Now let's see the present day mapping overview, that what are the situation at present. So this is the country of Syria. The capital is Damascus. Okay, this is Golan Heights that Israel captured from Syria. This is southern Lebanon, and this is Fatah land, from where the Palestinians attack, from where the Hamas attacks. This is Gaza. This is from where the current attack has come. This is the city of Jerusalem. This is West Bank, captured from Jordan. This is the Dead Sea. This is the Red Sea. This is the Mediterranean Sea. This is Egypt and the Sinai Peninsula in a specificity. This here is the, apart from the on the west side of the Sinai Peninsula is the Suez Canal. Alright, this is Saudi Arabia. Further if we go, we can see the Iran and UAE, etc. Not to our use right now. Now a basic question comes, how suddenly Israel became so strong. Alright, so these are the countries you can see. Let's have a look at the Muslim countries, Muslim majority countries. So this is just a second. So this is Bangladesh here. This is Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia this side. All right. So when we go to the upper side, we see these countries. This is Xinjiang province and all. This is Kazakhstan, the Central Asian region, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Oman, UAE, Somalia, Ethiopia, all the northern part of the Africa. This is the most part which is affected by terrorism, whether it is the Sahel region here, whether it is the crisis in Somalia and Ethiopia, the genocides that have taken place, whether it is the issue between the Yemen and Oman, whether it is the conflicts and terrorist attacks that have been carried in Syria, Iraq, whether it's the women rights issues that have been going on in Iran, whether it is the Taliban in Afghanistan and various terrorist attack created by a terrorist country, Pakistan, whether they are the dictatorship in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. It is evident very historically that all of this region has always been surrounded in the conflicts. This is a major portion of the world and is surrounded by Islamic forces. Now, as I told you very earlier also, that the central powers, especially the Europe and the Western powers, USA, were not very happy with these. And they wanted a military checkpost here, a strategic point here. This strategic point came in the manifestation of Israel. Why Israel is important? Because it is located on the ends of Mediterranean Sea. It also connects to the Red Sea, which goes further to the Atlantic and Pacific. Also, the trade with all the countries such as India, Pakistan, Iran, etc., and the oil which can be brought into the Mediterranean. Furthermore, Israel has always been supported from other powers such as USA, Britain. So these are the reasons, because of these forces also supported the Zionist movement and the immigration of all the European Jews into this Israel. Furthermore, even in 2023, Middle East remains a ground of various different indirect conflicts in this region, such as even the China is slowly building its presence in the Africa. The Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran and all the Arab countries want to connect itself with Turkey, which is also trying to invade in the Armenian countries or country, let's say. So Israel stands as a checkpost here from the Western powers. It is also exclusively because of its Western support that it has so much power. So it did not become suddenly so strong in 1948. It had always been supported by various different powers. India, however, has had a different stance. It has favored Palestine, at least initially. So we'll see various different questions and answers here. But first of all, what we need to see it the Zionist movement. So in order to see, so the Zionist movement, which sought to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine, had been active for decades prior to 1948. The Jewish immigrants had been settling in the region, acquiring land and establishing communities, contributing to the growth of the Jewish presence. United Nations partition plan. In 1947, the UN passed a resolution. This we have already studied, which basically wanted to divide Israel into two parts, the Palestinian territories as well as the Jewish territories. The Israel accepted this, but Arab people did not. All right. So mobilization and leadership, the Jewish community, that is one reason, this UN partition plan acceptance by the Israel, that is one of the reasons because of which Israel got so much support from the Western world. And the rejection of the Arabs to this plan, to the UN plan, was seen as a counter move. Okay, mobilization and leadership. The Jewish community in Palestine was well organized and had established paramilitary forces such as Haganah, which played a crucial role in defending Jewish communities and fighting during the war. So this was also there. This made the Israel stronger because they had already found a militant organization or forces. Survival motivation. So Jewish population in Palestine had a strong motivation due to historical context, including the Holocaust and desire for safe refuge. So if they could not survive in the Israel, they had nowhere else to go. It was not a matter of occupation for them, it was a matter of survival. External support. So Israel received some external support, particularly from Western countries, arms, funds, and political backing from countries like the USA. They played a role in Israel's military capabilities. Arab disunity. So Arab states opposed to the establishment of Israel were divided and lacked effective coordination. This is why they could not win the multiple wars, whether it was 48 or 67. Effective military strategies. So Israel adopted effective military strategies. With a well-organized and disciplined military, the Israel Defense Forces managed to overcome the challenges posed by multiple Arab states that opposed it. Second thing is local knowledge and trades. They had already been living there and they were familiar with all the forces. Let us see the Zionist movement in brief. So Zionism is a nationalist movement that emerged in the 19th century to support the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine, which roughly corresponds to the land of Israel in Jewish tradition that was from 1000 BC. After Israel's establishment, Zionism evolved into an ideology that promotes the development and protection of the state of Israel. Zionism originated in the Central and Eastern Europe in late 19th century as a response to the rising anti-Semitism and the Jewish Enlightenment. Its primary goal became the creation of homeland in Palestine. Then under Ottoman control, the movement aimed to ingather exiles, bringing Jews back to their historical homeland to end the persecution and exodus that have marked Jewish history. Alright, let's now come towards India and Israel. This is very important for us to know after seeing the history of the state. This is Benjamin Netanyahu. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Alright, so let us see. Of course, they are displaying friendly relationships here. So let us see how past support of India, which was not so much towards Israel and was in support of the Palestine, turned into a friendly goal towards the Palestine and why? Towards Israel and why? So Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called him and gave him an update on the deadly conflict, which has killed over 1,600 people so far. And PM said he assured Netanyahu that India stands with Israel in the difficult hour. So this is about the October 2023 update. So India is with Israel. So is Britain. UK as Rishi Sunak displayed on the Parliament building of UK. Okay, so he also underscored that India strongly and equally condemns terrorism in all its forms. The message of support is significant because India has historically backed the Palestinian cause and has also been moving closer to Israel in recent years. The war has come at a time when India has been positioning itself to play a bigger role in the Middle East. This is one reason, and it will now have to navigate a difficult diplomatic situation. Operation Ajay is about evacuating operation by India, which is being take place into Israel, and we are actually evacuating people. Nusrat Bharucha is an Indian celebrity who recently came to India via this operation. While the US, UK, Germany, France and Italy have issued a joint statement expressing their steadfast support. So these are all the powers we already talked about, the central powers which want a presence in the Mediterranean as well have interest in the Middle East. So they want Israel to be strong and unequivocally condemning Hamas. Many countries in the Middle East have blamed Israel for the current situation, just as the geopolitical situation tells us. So this is a part of the world politics, nothing important for us. India supported Palestine earlier. So after the Indian independence, Jawaharlal Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi vote to support the Palestinian cause. This was majorly because of the Kashmir crisis. On one hand, we could not say that India wants the Kashmir and Pakistan must stop aggression. And on the other hand, we could not say that Israel is supported. Alright, because they were seen as an aggressor in that time. So as they rejected the idea of two nations on the basis of religion, this was also the same idea which divided the India and Pakistan. While they had sympathy for the Jews, both were of the view that any state based on religious exclusivity, such as India and Pakistan, could not sustain on moral and political grounds, which India has displayed that it can. So this was in sync with their opposition to partition of India. Alright. It should also be noted as a fact that any state that is in active conflict because of religion can also never sustain a moral and political ground. India's position with regard to Palestine was also guided. One more thing is to be seen that the partition of India and Pakistan now has led to various contrasting nations as per their economy, population, demography, and everything, while Israel is still into the conflict, which has not still divided into two states. So this shows what method works the best. India's position with regard to Palestine was also guided by general consensus in the Arab world, the non-aligned movement, and the United Nations. So when the partition of Palestine plan was put to vote in UN, India voted against, along with the Arab countries. When Israel applied for admission in the UN, India again voted against. New Delhi, however, recognized Israel on September 17, 1950, after two Muslim majority countries, Turkey and Iran, did so. On January 1975, India recognized PLO as the sole and legitimate representative of Palestinian people and permitted it an independent office at New Delhi. So this was during the time of Congress. While India was one of the last non-Muslim states to recognize Israel, it became the first non-Arab state to recognize the PLO. So under Indira and Rajiv Gandhi, when Congress was in nation, so still the JL Nehru sympathy was carried on, or the thought process philosophy was same. So Indira Gandhi returned to power with thumping majority. She continued her support to Palestinian struggle. India upgraded the PLO office to that of an embassy now, in strong support to Palestine. Endowed with all diplomatic immunities and privileges, Arafat became a frequent visitor to Delhi through the early 80s, and a relationship between India and Palestine strengthened. Alright. Rajiv Gandhi, after the demise of Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi continued with India's approach towards the Palestine. Now, change in India's stance came after around 1990s, and it's very contrasting now. So, Arab countries' neutral position during 1962 war and their support to Pakistan during the 65 and 71 wars did not go down well with many, including BJP. On the other hand, Israel helped India with arms and ammunition in 1962 and 1965 wars. So this changed because ultimately they supported the Pakistan, not India, of course, the Arab countries. So Israel helped India. So this is why we changed the stance. Things also changed in West Asia when Iraq invaded Kuwait in August 1990. The PLO lost its political leverage on account of its support to Saddam Hussein. Around that time, the Soviet Union disintegrated, and this prompted India to make drastic change in its policy toward West Asia. So it established full diplomatic relation with Israel in 1992, days after the Chinese established diplomatic relation with Tel Aviv. So we had to compete with China as well. The establishment of full diplomatic ties with Israel came in especially handy during the Kargil war. They supplied us important information. The Indian Air Force desperately needed precision target bombs that Pakistani intruders were hiding in caves and bunkers atop mountains in Kargil. So not only Israel supplied us arms and ammunition, it also supplied us with information about geography and maps post the Kargil. So that is why our stance and the policy towards the Kargil changed after the Israel changed after the Kargil war. The IAF reached out to their Israeli counterparts who wasted no time. They also understood to have dug into emergency stockpiles and shipped the weapons to India, which proved to be decisive in the hour of need. So this is why RAW and Mossad also work very in coordination. After this, the Bajpayee government sent Foreign Minister Jaswant Singh for the first bilateral visit in 2000. Home Minister L.K. Advani visited Israel, followed by more high-profile visits. Now, in the past decade, such as after 2010, in the last decade or so, ties have deepened in the security, defense, connectivity, but also with the Arab countries, let's say. So India is still playing very diplomatically, which has been India's strong aspect. So Indian strategic approach to merge with all sides in the complex Western Asian region is born out of necessity because of the huge diaspora plus energy needs. So had not been this energy needs and diaspora, India would favoring the Western countries more. So only highlights, let's say. So 1947, India voted against the UN partition plan. Israel established a consulate in Bombay in 1953 after being recognized. During conflicts, India and Israel collaboration increased significantly. Israel became a crucial Indian ally. Israel provided India with armaments, ammunition, and intelligence, supporting the Indo-Pakistan War in 1999 and 71. In 1992, full diplomatic relations were established between India and Israel, and it opened an embassy. Both are now part of I2U2 group formed in October 2021. Please read about this group also. Military cooperation. India is Israel's largest client for military equipment sales. So they basically come from Western countries, USA and all funding, and Israel manufactures this. So Israel is India's second largest supplier of military equipment after Russia. A significant portion of Israeli arms export goes to India. Military cooperation also includes joint training, intelligence sharing regarding various different terrorist groups. Third thing is India is Israel's third largest Asian trade partner with a bilateral trade of US 6.3 billion as of 2019. This is excluding military sales. Both countries are negotiating a bilateral free trade agreement also, focusing on technology, biotech, and agriculture. So Israelis have invented ways of making it rain in the desert. So they are sharing this all information with us. Diplomatic support. So under Indian Prime Minister Modi, India abstained from voting against Israel in several UN resolutions. And representation, Israel is represented in India through an embassy in New Delhi and consulate in Mumbai and Bangalore. India is represented in Israel through an embassy in Tel Aviv. So this is about this whole lecture. We saw the history, the present state between India and Israel, discussing a way forward to this issue. The Israel-Palestine issue is not in our purview. We can go with the two-state solution and say that all matters are to be resolved diplomatically and with peace rather than favoring any one organization. What happens, why we cannot find a way forward? Because when the organizations such as PLO, Hamas, or one of the parties are a terrorist party or militant activist party, diplomatic ways are almost never working, let's say, in the end. So this is about today's lecture. I hope you liked the lecture. You can make a mind map of it. I'll see you in the next lecture. This is Yatharth here signing off. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Keep studying and smiling.